Hey guys, what's up? My name is Ronan Vico. In this video we're going to learn how to get more than 2000 rows from an Excel file directly to your Power App Canvas. We're going to use just the Power Apps Canvas and the Excel connector. Don't need any Power Automate Cloud flows here, okay? So it's the best approach if you want to get more than 2000 rows from a data source. We already learned how to do it in the same channel with a SharePoint list. It's the same approach with a little bit difference. So if you are using SharePoint list, we'll leave a card up here. You can click and watch it. Basically, the strategy here to get all this data is to fetch 2000 at a time until the data is retrieved. We already did it on the SharePoint, but at the SharePoint, it was more hard because we needed an ID for the OData filter, and this ID, it's not automatically made. We needed to create this ID on the SharePoint list to do all these fetches. At the Excel, it's the same thing that we're going to do. But why? Why we are doing that? Just to make more clear for you. Let's say here that from the row 50,000 to the end, all of them are from Brazil, okay? If I try to count the rows from this table to analyze this data and understand how many people from this table are from Brazil, if I try to do it on my Power App, let's have the table connected here. I will insert a text label and insert on the formula a CountRows with filter TB. People were the country equals Brazil. Here we can see that the CountRows, because of the filter obviously, will get just the 2000 rows. But we know that this table have at least 5000, right? Because we start on 5000 to the 20,000 here. All of them are from Brazil. So here is the problem. If I need to get and count rows or do something that we need to get more than 2000 rows, we will have a problem here, right? So how I can get all of the 20,000 rows from this file, right? How I can get all of them, all the 20,000, and after that, after getting all this data, I can filter all from Brazil and get the right answer. What is the right answer? I don't know yet, but I need to get all the 20,000 and after that filter it to get all those people from Brazil. And I'm if you don't know, I am from Brazil. That's why I am using that example, right? So write down below, where are you from? I want to know. I want to be your friend. Comment down below, where are you located at? Following the approach that we're using at SharePoint, if we have IDs, I can get 2000 and fetch 2000, fetch 2000 until I have all the data. But here at the Excel, we don't need to create an ID. I can create pages. What I am talking about? We know that we can get 2000, 2000, and 2000. So I can separate all of this data right here in blocks of 2000. How can I do it? Pretty simple. Without filling the column, I can have a formula and I can write directly to the cell. Take a look here. I will insert a new row, a new column, sorry. You can insert wherever you prefer. I will insert here, for example, the column is going to be my page ID. For I can do any name here, okay? And I will insert a formula that create blocks of 2000 rows using the Excel formula. First that we are writing here, it's the row. Why? So let me format here so you can see better. Having the row, I know that each row will be unique, so I know all the values here is going to be unique. And also now I can separate that in blocks. What I am saying here, I can do a unique code from, I can simply divide the row number by 2000 When I do it, we are going to have the following values, right? So basically, when I divide by 2000, I create a block of 2000 rows. Not exactly 2000, but if we check here, all of them are 0 dot something, 0 dot something. What are you saying? I'm not understanding. Let's check it out. For example, the 3000 row here are at the page 1 dot something. If I go here for the 4000 row, it's the page 2 dot something. So what we can do here, it's basically to round down, right? Round down this value to 0 digits. When I do it, we're going to have a block with the value 0. When it is the 2000 row here, we have the page 1 and so on. So if we check the rows, we're going to see that the pages are divided by 2000 rows. That way, I have multiple pages. When I say page, I'm saying about the blocks of 2000 rows, right? And it is automatically here for me. I don't need to change it. If a row here is deleted, for example, the formula will keep working, and I will have the page ID here, right? The block ID. We can change this column name. Let's change for block ID. Okay, the block of 2000 rows. Now that I have this block's IDs, I can go to the Power App and say to get the block 1, block 2, block 3, block 4, a sequence of blocks, and I will have all the 2000 rows. Let's do it. It's the same approach that we did at SharePoint list. Here at the Power App, I'm going to refresh the table. I will insert a new button, and I will collect a collection with all this data. So I will clear a people data, and I will do a sequence of 10. Why I'm doing a 10 sequence? Because I know that my data reach 10 block of pages, right? You can do it like getting the data and seeing what is the biggest number, or you can do it other ways, right? I will insert 10 here because I know that I have 10 blocks. Actually, it's not 10, it's 11. So I will have 11 blocks starting from 0. And oops, let me change here. And I will, for all of this sequence number as block, I will collect the TB, the people data, and filter on the Excel TB people, where the TB people dot block ID equals block dot value, right? So basically, we are filtering all the rows in that block from 0 to 11, right? So I'm going from 0 to 10, 11 numbers starting at 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3 until 11. We are facing here an issue. He's saying that we can compare the text with a number because he considers all the data on Excel as a text. For the Power Apps, that is a text from the formula. So we need to change here with an with to create a variable text block value as block dot value, and I will use that instead of the block value. So I'm going to use this value right here. Oops, this value right here. And I will use the text function to convert this number to text. So just explaining it again, when we use sequence, the value of this sequence is a number. So we are storing at this variable this number converted to text and using it at this filter right here. So the filter will work properly, okay? Without any warning. Now let's change here at this label to people data will be 0 because we never collected. And when we click here at this button, we can see that the data is being fetched. So all the sequence is running, first the 0, then the 1, 2, 3. After that, we have these rows. I will copy this label and paste and change here without the filter. I will remove the filter here, and we can see that we have 20,000 rows. So we collected all the rows in the Excel file in the collection, right? And after that, we can filter properly and see exactly the number of people from Brazil. So we first collect all the data so we can filter it again to analyze or do whatever you want. To finish this video, let's check. If I insert a new row, what is going to happen? Let's check it out, right? So this button here, I will change to collect the get data, okay? And I will create a new button that insert a new row. So in this button, I will insert a patch function to TB people that create the defaults row. And it is important to use the defaults, okay? Because we'll create a new row with exactly the false value and copy the formula. So defaults, TB people, and I will insert a birth date here, a code, country is going to be Brazil, and the name is going to be Ronan. I will not insert, of course, the block ID. The block ID is a formula, so don't insert nothing, right? When I click at this button, the row will be inserted to this table. So if I click here, the row was inserted. When I open here the Excel file and check the last row at this table, we can see here the name, the country, and also the formula. That's why we not inserted the formula. So if I get the data again, let's get the data again. We can see here, after we get the data, that the row is here. One important thing here, the Excel is slow, okay? So try to not use Excel file as data source. Just in specifically moments, in specifically projects, you can use Excel as data source like we are doing here. I don't recommend it at all. So if you have a lot of data, like 20,000 rows that is static, and you need to get when the app opens so you can use that for something, it is okay. But if I try to keep using this, for example, insert a new row here with this button, and after that, after some minutes, try to get the data again, or even in the exactly time after inserting the row, you will have a slow run, right? So if I try to get the data again for the second time after insert a new row, we can see here that the Excel will be so slow because of the connector Excel. The problem here is the Excel connector. So we're going to wait like a minute, not a minute, but I don't know, 20 to 30 seconds here to get all of that 20,000 rows. So it's not recommended to use Excel as data source because of that. We have a lot of issues when filtering with using no data, and also it is really slow to deal with inserting, removing rows. And a disclaimer here for you: don't use that technique in all your apps, or try to not use Excel as data source. This topic of this video is something specifically for some cases. If you want to get more than 2,000 rows and work with a large set of data, try to use SharePoint list and the approach of the other video. And if you need more and more space, more and more speed, you should try to move on to a premium feature. Okay, but I do not recommend at all using Excel, only in specific cases with static data. So just to make sure that you understood it. To finish this video, I will ask you to hit the thumbs up, consider to subscribe to this channel and share so we can grow up, and also leave down a feedback about the video, about the topic, and leave the word pineapple on your comment so I will know that you watched it to the end. So write pineapple on your comment. It's a way of knowing who watched the video completed. I see you in another video in another class, and please consider to subscribe.